represent a different ownership of Canon print technology, and it is print technology. Something that I learned, because I was a print customer, I never really, honestly thought about how a press works, because it just, to me, I give somebody a file and I just want my stuff back when I want it back, and I want it to look like what I think it should look like. I don't really, pay attention to what goes inside of it. But now that I have more conversations with the people who actually make presses, I understand that stuff actually does matter as far as the output goes, and that's why I call printing technology. And also, so the investment in that is a big decision. So, Ken, why did you first start partnering with Canon?
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you all hear me? Am I loud enough? Most people think I'm too loud.
Are you good? Okay.
Cool. We were looking for a new press, and we thought that inkjet was in our future, and frankly, we didn't think it was quite there yet. We didn't think the quality was quite there, and also most of the inkjet presses that were out there were either roll-fed or more like an offset press in that you put one pallet of paper in, printed on it, and when you wanted to change stock, you had to move that pallet and put another pallet in. We came from a background, we have never owned an offset press. I never want to own an offset press. I think they're lovely, but I have two printers across the way from us, 50 yards away. They have offset presses. I don't need one. So I was looking for something that was sheet fed, had multiple pick points, and had quality that I could sell to my customers. And I didn't think it existed until a friend of mine who publishes a newsletter said he had been to the Canon showroom facility in Boca Raton, assuming it's still there, and had seen something that I ought to go look at, and that was the i300. And we went down, and they were just introducing color grip, which made a huge difference in the quality. And I would say that 85% of what we print now, we print on the i300, and our customers are pleased, and we are ecstatic.
What kind of customers do you have?
We work a lot, we're based in the Washington, D.C. area, so we work a lot with associations, higher education, high-tech companies. We're based in Loudoun County, which has the distinction 70% of all the internet traffic in the world goes through Loudoun County. So we have a lot of high-tech companies in our area. So that's our markets.
Okay, Jamie, what are you here representing?
We started out as we were mostly an offset shop and got into digital many years ago with our first purchase of Canons. We had, I think, the 6011s back then, and have since updated to the 7011s. We needed speed, we needed shorter runs. We had a lot of med ed companies we were doing meetings for that needed to be turned around in 2-3 days at the most, shipped all over the place. We needed to be able to stitch books in line, and it fit our needs perfectly. Yeah, we could run cover and text, silk cover, gloss cover, and opaques. It was perfect. It fit everything we needed to do.
So I want to talk a little bit about what it takes to be a successful printer in today. And I think that one of the things that makes a printer more accessible to a customer is being able to pivot and to be nimble as far as coming up with applications, showing them new applications, or developing services around their needs. Are you gentlemen engaged in those type of activities, and how do you help your customers, let's say, beyond the print?
You can have that one first.
Thank you. Yeah, I am very engaged with my customers. I am always out online, Twitter, following Deborah, following other paper companies, trying to find out what's best, what's new, what's neat, what will they like. People in my office always come to me and ask where I'm finding this material, and it's usually online. And we have one good paper rep from Lindenmeyer, if I can say, who comes to us all the time with all these great new innovations. So I'm always in the forefront trying to show them what's new, what can be done on our equipment, and going that route. So, and with a big social media network that I've gotten over the last couple of years, being able to find customers help when they need it in other states and other countries that people have the same equipment. So it's always big. I did something with a customer the other day. They needed posters in Spain, and we had shipped them there, and they got stuck in customs. So I found them a solution, found them a partner, and they delivered them on Saturday morning. So it's always a big, I enjoy helping them, even if it's not something that we're doing.
So I just want to make a really important point now, which is when somebody in your company asks you, what is the ROI of social media? That is the answer right there. Through his social media network that he has personally cultivated on his own time, he has created a network to help his customers, whether he's profiting from it or not. So there's an answer. So that was really cool.
Well, I suffer from OFS, which is an incurable disease. That stands for old fart syndrome. So I have very little to do with social media. Other people in my organization do. But I do agree that it's our job to find out what's new for our clients. We have two kinds of customers. We have our old long-term customers who we've dealt with for years and trust us to take care of everything, and they're wonderful, but they're getting to be fewer and farther between as they retire. The younger people coming on board don't have as much print knowledge. They may have knowledge about a lot of other things. So they, in their own way, not necessarily even knowing it, count on us even more to present them with new ways of doing things. Because otherwise they'll just do it the way they've been doing and focus totally on the price. We haven't lost any customers, but as many of us know, they're not printing as much as they used to. So you have two choices if you want to continue to grow. You can either add new accounts, which is hard, or find new things to sell to your existing accounts. This is not any new knowledge for anybody who's been in sales before. And so we are looking for ways to find new things to sell to existing customers that will also resonate with our new prospects. And we found that the i300 has opened up a number of new doors for us.
So in a lot of ways, either when you're a printer, you're either selling a commodity or you're selling a solution. And when you're selling a solution, you also have to be able to match the right applications that might benefit a customer that they're not aware of. So through Canon's either education or their equipment, how are you bridging this, helping the customers learn about new applications and expand the types of printing that they're actually doing? You know, maybe they're only doing direct mail, but through your partnerships and talking to them about extending a campaign, you've gotten more work from them.
I'm not sure that's quite what we've done. Our clients, especially in the DC area, tend to be very, very price conscious and are still extremely demanding. Now maybe that's the same for everybody, maybe that's nothing new. So we need to find a way to continually provide them with that service level they expect at a price point they're happy with. And we had always felt that inkjet was in our future, like I said, but we just didn't think it was quite there yet. Now that we found that it has made a huge difference, not so much for our customers. They're still getting the quality and service and prices that they like. The difference has really been internal. To have a digital press that just runs, runs for hour after hour after hour without a jam, without a stop, our guys love it. And they're not easy to get them to change to new technologies. They like what they're used to. And so to bring in something totally different from anything we've had before was a bit of a challenge. Now they are the biggest champions of this machine. They love it. I thought one of the problems would be is they're not getting as much overtime anymore. Because when the other presses would go down and we had to wait for the technician to show up, that didn't affect the due time for the job. This job still had to get out at the same time, so it meant they were working overtime. It was backing up in the bindery department and all that. And they don't seem to miss not getting the overtime. They like that their lives are more predictable now, that they'll get out on time. When they thought they were going to go home that day, they're getting to go home that day. So at my end, I'm saving tons of money which allows us to be even more competitive. So we're making more, our customers are saving money, everybody's happy.
So, okay, thank you. Jamie?
Repeat the question, please.
Repeat the question. How are you educating your customers basically on the new applications in print? And are you able to have these conversations with them with digital printing, for example? You know, you are a one-stop shop, so you have offset. You know, how are you getting the offset people on digital and presenting the new opportunities for them?
One of the things that we like to do at our shop is once a month we have a discovery day where all our reps bring in at least 1 to 2 customers to run them through our shop. We spend about an hour and a half this one day a month. We send out invitations, we bring them in, the owner of our company sits down with them, all of us are there, and we kind of go, this is our workflow, this is what happens when your job comes in, these are all the steps it takes, and we go through and we kind of show them. We have things set up on our presses and say, this is where your job's going now, here's where it's going then. We go through the digital department, offset department, our large format department. And it kind of gives them an eye-opening experience going, oh wow, we didn't know you could do all that. You know, we used you for our books, we used you for our letters, we didn't know you did large format. And years ago we saw that was a big need that we needed to do. We got the Arizona rigid, forget the number now, it's 61 something, it's awesome, but we knew we needed to do a lot of foam board, we needed to do a lot of other large format pieces that a lot of our meeting customers needed. So it was another thing, a step that we went, showed them what we could do. They were going to multiple different sources. Now we kept everything under one roof, which was a big process. And we actually found that piece of equipment here a couple of years ago.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Okay, I just want to make, you hit on something, and I think we've all faced this. Or whenever we bring clients through for a visit, the most common phrase we hear is, we didn't know you did that. Which means, clearly we're not marketing ourselves well enough.
Right.
But that's the most common thing. So bringing people in is great and letting people know what you do. On the other hand, I don't want to say exactly disagree, but most of our clients, they don't care what kind of equipment we have. They could care less, or they could not care less. I always get that expression wrong. They could not care less what kind of equipment that we have. They're not impressed the way we might be with, oh, we got a this or a that. They want to know, is it going to be on time? Is it going to look the way I want it to look? Is it going to be priced appropriately? And I don't really care how you do it. And those are our customers. No one has ever called up and said, are you using this press?
Perfect segue.
You know, no one seems to care.
I have had that.
Yeah,
Customer found me that way because we had the press that could run the material he wanted. So.
But did they really care what model it was? They knew you had the
No,
capability.
they just knew that we had the capability, but
Yeah.
we knew they actually looked at that press and said, we found out that you have it. I know it runs what I want. It is out there.
So that's actually a great point, Jamie, because I would agree with Ken that most people, including myself as a print buyer, I did not care, or I didn't think I needed to care, is really what it was. I was thinking that my relationship was with my printer, and it was with my printer. What I didn't realize is that I also needed to have a relationship with my press, with my output device, and that there were different outcomes on different devices, and I could also control what those outcomes were on those different devices through the use of ink coverage and the right papers and things like that. And I only started learning that when I started talking to the industry people, and that's kind of why I started this Project Peacock thing, which was to bring the manufacturers to the print customers to kind of help them so that they're in a position, exactly what Jamie said, that they knew the equipment that they wanted to print on because they knew the result that they wanted, so they sought out the printer that had it. And that's the way I hope it will end up, because that's how you create valuable prints down the entire chain, from the suppliers to the manufacturers. It all becomes one giant relationship. So that's really awesome. Does anybody have questions? Please, we love questions. Yes, question. The question is about the quality of the inkjet. Let's start off with, what was the quality? Was the quality different when you first saw it till it is now, and is the quality up there, right? That's your question. What's the quality? I mean, they want to know.
Yeah. When we first looked at inkjet in general, the quality wasn't there. It had a sort of washed out, kind of not vibrant kind of look to it. In the case of the i300, the difference was color grip. It's made a huge difference in the quality of the output. We're printing on coated stocks. We're printing on uncoated stocks. We're printing on all kinds of things they didn't think we could be able to print on, but we figured out how to do it. Is it as high quality? Is it the highest quality of all digital print? No. But I would say easily 85% of what we do, we can use the i300 for. Now, if you're I don't know, if you're in a market that requires the penultimate quality, it may not work for you. But if most of our customers, again, they look at it and they go, fine. We've only had one, we generally make the decision as to which press we're going to run something on. And we've only had one customer, and we've had our i300, it's closing in on a year. It's hard to believe, it seems like it was only yesterday, but it was installed in November a year ago. And we've only had one customer bounce approve. All the others have been happy with it. Now again, we pre-selected, so we didn't, and there were just certain jobs we didn't feel it was suited for, which is why almost all of us have more than one kind of piece of equipment, because some things are better on certain things than others. Or you may need a size that you can't do on one press that you can do on a different press.
And for anybody who doesn't know what color grip is, and please, if I misstep, let me know. It's a treatment of the paper, but it only goes where the ink is actually going to go. So it holds onto it, and it doesn't put it where it doesn't need ink. So there's the value proposition, according to Canon, is that that's a savings of money. I'm just repeating what I was told. I don't own a press, but I believe them. Well, I'll put it to that way. Otherwise, they wouldn't say it, because they've got a lot of lawyers over at Canon. So they would not be saying something that's not true. Yes, sir, question. Okay, they want a more description of the i300.
I can answer some of that.
Okay, so just to repeat
yes.
the question, the gentleman is asking about the finishing capabilities, and what was the second part of it?
Was the fifth color.
And fifth color, yes, thank you.
At this point, there is not a fifth color that I know of. There seems to be a place for one. There's a slot there. I don't know when they're going to do anything, or if they're going to do anything, and what that slot might be used for. So I can't tell you that. In terms of finishing, there's all kinds of finishing at the end. So if you want to put a booklet maker on, you can. Perfect binding. Perfect binding. I've got a prompter here. Perfect binding. What else would you put at the end?
Can I have the mic? Oh, I have the mic. I'm so sorry.
So the answer is yes, you can put online
I'm telling you,
finishing.
it's time for you to come up here. Check, 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 check.
Hi,
Powers,
sorry.
introduce yourself.
Tanya Powers. I'm a senior manager on the marketing team with Canon Solutions America. I'm specifically with the production print solutions division, which is primarily our production inkjet solutions. We do have some of the toner products as well. I am not a product specialist. I don't have all the technical details. We have inkjet specialists and product managers in our booth at 1213. Would love to have you come over. We have the i300 press showing. It has color grip installed. We can show you some really beautiful applications, colorful graphic arts type applications, so you can kind of see what we're talking about, the color and the quality that you're now able to achieve. Just high level, it's a sheet fed press. It's about a 12 by 19 sheet size. Well over 80 papers have been tested and approved. Every day papers are being tested and approved, so it changes constantly. So you want to check in with your local sales rep regularly to find out what other papers are happening, but it's an ongoing process. We know the paper, the flexibility is a need for you guys.
Thanks so much. More questions? Anyone have questions? Okay, so tell me about what it's like to be in business with Canon. Are they there when you have your problems? Are they growing with you, and are you growing with them? Are they you're a long-term partner for you?
We're relatively new to Canon. The i300 was the first major Canon acquisition we had made. If you don't count the original Canon color copiers, from 1986, I think, something about then. We had those in our copy shops. But in terms of major equipment, this is our first investment, and frankly, we were impressed and amazed. They've been incredibly friendly, incredibly helpful. The service team is fantastic. When we need them, they're there. All along the way, it's been a great experience. And the one thing I really wanted to compliment the Canon sales team, for lack of a better name, is they weren't always selling. There are other companies that I've dealt with that will remain nameless, where they couldn't stop selling. You made a decision, you think you know what you want, and they would keep trying to sell. And the first thing I learned in sales many, many years ago is when a customer says yes, you shut up. Yeah. And they couldn't shut up. But the Canon folks, they listened to what we were looking for. And I really got the impression that if they felt that we wouldn't be successful with the i300, they wouldn't have sold it to us.
And I mean, to echo that, that's actually one of the reasons that I work with Canon, because they are really about education, and that's what I am, and they provide a ton of resources to everybody. They want more people using digital print. They want to convince you to use digital print, and of course they prefer if you did it on their equipment.
Would be nice.
But they just want, the more digital print, the more technology, the more money that goes into it. It's just general, rules of commerce. So they are just a fantastic resource for information. So I'm going to actually thank the customer panel so much for joining us. And then I'm going to talk to Tanya Powers about Project Peacock, and we will thank you very much. And
Thank you,
Thank you,
guys.
Deborah.
We really appreciate it.
thank you. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. Awesome. It's actually only 15 more minutes. Hello. Hello. Oh, do you want me to use which one? This one or this one? This one? I don't, you just tell me. Okay, cool. Thank you so much. Okay, everybody. So, this is Tanya Powers. Tanya Powers, who are you?
I'm Tanya Powers. I am the Senior Marketing Manager at Canon Solutions America. I mentioned earlier, I represent the Production Print Solutions Division. My role on the team is to represent the voice of our customers. So I focus a lot on our graphic arts markets, the book printers, commercial printers, really wanting to learn and understand from them what are their pain points, what are their challenges, what are the things that we can do at Canon to help them be more successful, whether it's taking information back from the field about things that can be done on the R&D side. Obviously, I'm not doing it, but I make sure our R&D is aware of things that are necessary to our customers to be successful. Or it's customers who are looking for market research or business development type support. What are those things, and how can we help bring that to our customers to help them be successful? Like you said, it's a win-win. If they're successful, we're successful. We really want to make sure this industry continues to grow. It's important, and to grow, you need to be constantly educating yourself and being there together and learning and moving forward.
Awesome. So, when people normally think of inkjet, they think of transactional printing. And Canon has been extremely, extremely successful in this space. But now your technology has advanced almost, the quality-wise, that it's beyond the minimal quality or the maximal quality that one would expect in a bill and statement, and it's almost like ready to, make its appearance on Broadway on to the brands and the marketing people. So why is now the time that Canon has sort of put their focus beyond their normal range of experience? Not experience, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, the Canon acquired OSE some years back now, and if you were here earlier and listened to Eric Hawkinson on our team speak, he gave a little history about that and our technologies. The OSE technology is very strong technology. It was recognized by Canon. They understood inkjet, and it had a significant role, and they knew it would advance and play an even major role as the technology advanced and moved forward. So we still have a strong core customer base in those transactional direct mail type environments, and we continue to expand on those technologies and push the boundaries to help out those types of customers be successful. But looking forward, looking at where the pages are moving, where the technology needs to move, the opportunity for us and for printers and the end users, the brand owners, we really need to move into that more graphic arts space. And Canon has that backing. They had a strong presence in the graphic arts space. They knew inkjet was the next move. That was the reason behind the acquisition, and they've invested significantly, as Eric mentioned this morning. Around 9% of the net revenue goes back into R&D every year, and they've significantly put a portion of that into print and inkjet technologies, primarily because this is where it's moving. And you heard from our customers, and you'll hear from many more across the different competitors. This is where it's moving. So it's an important part, and we at this point in time, I do believe Canon has the largest inkjet portfolio. We have continuous feed, and we have sheet fed. We have technologies that focus more applications for those more traditional customers of ours, and we're launching newer technologies. You mentioned earlier, Deborah, with Eric, our ProStream, which is the newest continuous feed inkjet technology, and that is really taking it to the next level. That's what, when we went into some of these agencies and brand owners, they really got excited. Just the quality that they were seeing on the samples that we brought in, and these are just first rounds print samples. The technology is going to keep moving forward, are amazing. You can't believe it's inkjet, and we have samples in our booth, and we highly encourage you to come over and take a look at it and see what we're able to do with the inkjet technology today.
So, remember that commercial where like the chocolate falls in the peanut butter, and then they make a Reese's peanut butter cup like peanut butter and jelly. So Canon decides to go on this mission to talk to agencies and brand owners, and I have this crazy idea to bring information about digital printing directly to print customers. And two people at an event walk into a bar, and Project Peacock is born. And Project Peacock is basically a high-level agency and brand show and tell that we've been doing around the country since January of this year. And so far, we've visited more than 400 print customers at worldwide global advertising agencies, worldwide brands. Yep. One of them actually came to visit us today. Kraft Heinz was in the house. Shout out to the Mr. Peanut. And they have a grocery store in their office.
They do.
It's very freaking cool.
We were very excited.
And they get to shop in there, but it's very interesting. So what we're finding out is that there is almost a step to this conversation if you have any digital technology or are thinking of purchasing it, that you have to understand that the print buyers have no idea what is available to them to access out of your presses. And it's not even that you have to, you get a new press and you want to talk to them about all it does and everything like that. They don't even know what inkjet printing is. And I'm not saying anything bad. They were like clapping, thank you for telling us. I mean, and that's the reaction that we've been getting. Every time we hand these global agencies print samples from inkjet, they're all trying to rub it off, thinking that it's like a desktop printer, or that personalization was more just like
Limited to just a name.
just a name, and not like
The
all
images,
right.
all these components can now become variable on this page, and you're only limited by what you can imagine to do with it. So it was exciting going in and trying to open their minds a little bit. It scares them, I think, honestly, because it's unknown that whole the data, managing the data and the technology behind that can be overwhelming. And I really think Project Peacock and Canon and other partners can help educate, and maybe in some very simplified pieces, to start breaking it down for them, making it simple, making it approachable, so they can understand what's possible without totally freaking them out, because it can be mind-blowing when you think about all that is possible with digital print and inkjet. You can now reach millions of people on a very personal one-to-one communication on this printed page if you understand the data and how to leverage it to its fullest ability. So.
Yeah, so you know, the end users, Canon is now on board with talking directly to the print customers to help them understand what their opportunities are with digital printing, and we're turning that into a podcast, and we're going to turn that into an online education series where, you know, maybe we'll send some pizzas to an advertising agency and we'll do an online class with them, or Clemson University in the house.
Oh, that
Our
would be
friends
wonderful.
from Clemson, go Tigers. You know, we can arrange something to, you know, we always support the pizzas there. So we've been to New York. We did it first in New York, and then we went to Chicago. And then
San
just
Francisco.
2 weeks ago, we were in the Bay Area. And, oh, sorry, we missed you.
What?
Oh,
Whoa, we might have
I'm
to come
really
back.
sorry. All of a sudden, you're like, "Oh, I'm not checking my email anymore. Now I'm paying attention." I got you. Next we go to Los Angeles in December, and then I will actually be speaking about this at the Think conference. I haven't really made a big deal about it, and we haven't actually made a big deal about it because Canon and I are, you know, we see this as a long-term ongoing situation. So we wanted to really understand, do like a first round and really gather data and find out what the needs were and get some feedback. And Canon's going to, you know, get feedback from the designers that we gave books to about if they designed something for inkjet, did that work out for them? Was there something like they've opened up this connection between a print customer and a manufacturer, and it's amazing.
Yeah, what we always position it in our partners as well, Domtars and so on.
Oh, right.
Yes,
And Domtar,
Domtar in the
come up.
room.
Ashley,
Because
come
paper obviously is a very important part to the printed piece. So we at Canon partner with all the major mills to make sure we are continually pushing what we're able to achieve with inkjet and the paper. Because the paper really is the fifth color, at least in the inkjet world, certainly. So we've worked with all the paper mills, constantly pushing to add new papers for our customers and your customers to make sure they can do all these amazing things that they want to do with print on our technologies. We did work to put together, Sherry Jamala's in the room here, led out on working with industry experts on creating the How to Design for Inkjet book. So because printers, you know, were having challenges working with their clients because the files just weren't working the way they thought they should, and there were just little things they needed to understand that were different about inkjet versus their traditional equipment they designed for. And we put this book together to help educate what those differences are so that they ultimately could achieve those same beautiful printed pieces. It was just maybe a little different thought process or to designing these files for the inkjet technology. So continuing to look for ways to work with the industry to put together information that will help educate and help all of us grow and leverage this technology. It's pretty exciting, I think. I'm thrilled, by the way, to be a part of the project.
Yay, Project Peacock. So one of the, we have four partners for Project Peacock. Canon, obviously, Skodex, who's not here, but my Skodex, love you.
Skodex is cool.
Mira Lupa, who's providing augmented reality experience. Actually, Trish Wachowski's a partner. She's around here somewhere.
I saw her earlier.
And our paper partner for 2017 and hopefully moving forward was Domtar Paper, and Ashley's been tooling around the country with us on the Project Peacock. And what have you, well, first tell everybody a little bit about who you are, what you do, and what kind of you're learning from these conversations that would help the printers in the audience.
Oh, absolutely. I'm Ashley. I'm the marketing brand manager at Domtar for the Cougar, Lynx, Husky, and Inkjet brands, also the converting brands. And with Project Peacock, I guess the biggest shock for me was just learning how little the people that spend money on this stuff understand and know, but they have the desire to make something turn out the way they want it to. So it's interesting, and we show them examples of variable data and variable imaging, and you would think that we were up there doing magic tricks. Like, they're so amazed, and they don't know you can do it.
These are global brands, global advertising agencies.
Yeah.
I don't know who thinks everybody's telling somebody something about what these presses do. I mean, everybody spends so much money on these things, but the people who buy the print have no idea what they do.
So
Crazy.
I think that's, as you said earlier, this
Right.
is the reason why this project was born, because there's a need in the industry to help provide that education and not sell it, push something on someone they don't need it. So coming from our perspectives, we're not trying to sell anything, we're just trying to educate, and along the way there may be some awareness and preference down the line, but really we just want them to be educated and understand there's so much value, that print is important, it has a part in the whole communication, the omni-channel process, and just helping them understand a little bit more about why print is important if it's done right, the right format to the right person at the right time, and just helping them be aware that there's ways to add that value to the printed page.
Yeah, and I guess it's a very positive experience, because every single group, advertising agency or brand that we visited, they all ended with a very enthusiastic wow moment. Even the people in Silicon Valley, which is, it wasn't their first consideration normally with going into a project, but they left there. None of them knew what you could do with variable data. None of them knew you could do this stuff, and they were all
techie
excited.
companies that we were going into, you're thinking, well, you're a technology company, of course
Right.
you get technology. This should be just a easy transition over to the print side.
Which was weird, because in that one company, you showed that one example,
Yeah.
and there was like their head of IT or something was in there, and he was like, oh, I know the script I need to do to
Yeah.
make that.
Yeah.
He was actually like figuring out how to program the script now that after the sample he saw, just from being in the room.
Right.
What have you gotten in touch with any of the Project Peacock people? Have
Yeah.
they reached out to you in any
Oh, yeah.
matter? Are they?
We, from the Canon side, we've had them reach out to, they want to understand who are some of the print service providers in the area that they might be able to partner with these types of technologies that we've shown. What I should mention, my large format counterpart isn't here today. He's supporting the booth.
Aw.
Mr. Randy Parr. He, both
The
of
wide
us.
format stylings
Yes,
of Randy
the
Paul.
wide format stylings of Mr. Parr.
He's a rock star.
But he's a rock star. Everybody gets wowed away by large format. I do. But both of us have
I'm
been
sorry,
contacted.
you don't understand. Randy Parr is getting standing ovations in advertising agencies
Standing.
for showing people that you can do textured print. The white ink, the white ink is blowing people
Yeah.
away. They do not know that you can do wide format white ink. I just have to
No, it's true,
mention it.
and it's fun to watch how excited people get about print. So, I mean, these are really cool people that do these genius, creative things, and you show them some printed stuff, and they're totally amazed. And wow was a constant comment I heard a lot of times, oohs and ahs. So yeah, so it's really exciting to see people like that excited about print and what they can do with it.
So what I, as a print customer and somebody who is one of these people, which is why I'm connected to them and I can get, kind of open these doors and have conversations with my peeps. What I'm looking for when these guys are talking is them huddling off into little groups, because I know at that point they've made a connection for why what we're talking about is now relevant in their world, and now how they're going to implement this to add value to their clients. or their customers or themselves if they're a brand. So it's been really an honor to serve on Project Peacock
has.
with
It's been
everybody.
awesome.
And next stop, Los Angeles.
Yes.
And thank you guys. Did you want to?
No, I just want to say I'm excited about what the things that we can do in 2018 and beyond. Earlier I mentioned when we go into these, I always want to make sure they know it's a beginning of a conversation with them. We're not coming in to visit, show them some cool things, and then walk out. We want them to reach out to us. We want to reach back out to them, understand more. Are there other things? Is it more sessions like this, or is it the podcast, or whatever it is? Or is it more books? What are the things that we can do to help continue that education and continue to help grow and drive to print?
Thanks so much. Any
Yeah.
final words?
No, I mean, it's been a great experience. For me, it's been a great reminder of just how little people out there know and how much they need people like all of us to educate them and just let them know what's out there and what they can do.
So thanks everybody so much. You guys have been a fantastic audience.
Thank you.
You've been awesome. Thank you. And our next session is coming up, I think, in 15 minutes. Thank you. And I'll tell you what it is in a second.